Hello and welcome to Security Weekly News, episode 501 or something like that. It is 501, but the hand signals, you have to watch it. On August 8th, 2025, this week we have SonicWall, confidential informants exposed, Cisco Vishing, Perplexity versus robots.txt, Microsoft's Project Irie, Meta Flow jury verdict, ChatGPT lands, TeaOnHer data link, Josh Marpet, and more on Security Weekly News.
This is a Security Weekly production for security professionals by security professionals. Please visit securityweekly.com/subscribe to subscribe to all the shows on our network.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
It's the show that keeps you up to date on the latest security news twice a week. Your trusted source for accurate security information and expert analysis. It's time for the Security Weekly News. Ransomware, supply chain attacks, 0 days, cyber threats don't wait, and neither should your defenses. With ThreatLocker, you're not just reacting to threats, you're stopping them before they start. Our Zero Trust endpoint protection locks down your environment with pinpoint control over what's allowed to run and what's not. No guesswork, no blind spots, just proactive, built-for-now security that keeps your business moving. Want to see how a true default deny strategy works? Head over to securityweekly.com/threatlocker and take the first step towards shutting the door on threats before they even knock.
Okay, good day, cyber people. I am Aaron Leyland, again for the second time this week, while Dr. Doug is having fun and causing mayhem in Vegas. Just wait. It's like, just wait till you see what Josh is up to. It's like he's having more fun. It's like there's stories everywhere. Anyway, so stick around for Josh. After story 7, my final story, because we always leave the best to the end, and maybe that's why I was always picked last at school. Also, just a gentle reminder, because I'm like as gentle as a jackhammer. If you've not listened, or even better, watched, and then you know what Josh was up to, show 500, which was this week. Where have you been? It's a cracker. So do that after this. Leave a comment. We'll endeavor to answer them. Like, I post them on my LinkedIn, leave comments there. We'll also answer them. Look, just go for it. Crazier the better. I'm a good egg. Okay, off we go. Story 1. SonicWall confirms patched vulnerability behind recent VPN attacks, not a 0 day. Okay, let's try and get the SonicWall situation straight, at least as it stands as I wrote this an hour ago. As I've already reported on this week, and now there's a massive update to the story, so go figure, right? Right. So we saw a wave of intrusions come through SonicWall SSL VPN portals in late July and early August. And apparently, as they were saying, that looked and felt like a fresh edge exploit because some victims were reporting that they were fully patched and the time from the first login to detonation was short. So SonicWall has now said that this is not a new 0 day, and they're tying the activity back to CVE 2024-40766, which they had already patched, and they're saying it's credential issues. That's what they're saying, especially where people migrate. Josh is just doing such fun stuff. You need to watch this on video. So, they're just saying, especially where people migrated from Gen 6 to Gen 7 appliances and kept the same local accounts without resets. Who would do that? Crazy. So they're saying they're investigating fewer than 40 incidents and so they're advising moving to Sonic OS 7.3, which they're saying is additional protection against brute force password and multi-factor authentication attacks. It's all saying here and looking like you need to look into resetting all local SSL VPN accounts, turning on the botnet protection and geo-filtering, enforcing this MFA, and removing inactive users. Go have fun with that. Okay, whether you accept their framing or not, The operational fixes are the same. If you still rely on local accounts on a perimeter device, obviously there you're taking unnecessary risk. Move the authentication to your identity provider, should you have one. I hope you do. Apply my favorite thing, conditional access, and of course, shrink the surface that you're offering to brute force the token replay. If you have to keep local users for break glass access, limit them to a very small set, rotate the keys, and keep them off the default groups that can reach everything. Honestly, when we look at this, the detection needs to mirror their behavior we're seeing. We must alert on-field login spikes, origin IPs from hosting providers rather than residential networks, and look at rapid privilege use within the first few minutes or the first few minutes of authentication. As if there's not enough to look at. It's like a teaching lesson where everything goes too fast. Watch for lateral movement that starts with a config pull, a quick inventory of reachable shares, and the first call outs to non-tooling. So I was reading, if your SOC treats VPN logins as benign because they pass MFA, you could be blind in one place you can't afford to be. So as I say, not much then. Moving on to all you leadership types listening to the show. If required, look at changing maintenance windows for edge devices. Perimeter patching, none of yous, is not a quarterly exercise. And of course, listen, if the vendor says exploitation is active, you need to patch out a cycle as quickly as possible. This I pulled out of something. You schedule disruption now to avoid paying later. Even better, there is no business case for ransomware. Isn't that just a fun statement? I do have another practical action though. Audit your SonicWall for migrated local accounts that no one actually uses. Remove them, force password resets for everything the SSL VPN writes. And if you find temporary accounts from last year, well, get rid of them. Okay, not much to do there, but lots of fun. Okay, story 2. Exclusive, confidential informants exposed in Louisiana Sheriff's Office hack. As if the Northern Irish PSNI wasn't enough, and then the British MOD with the Afghan hacks. This is bad actually. So I'm told it's an exclusive story, mostly because it's in the title. But data stolen from East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office, what a cool place that sounds, has been analysed, and they're saying it's worse than the early statements suggested. To be honest, this is the first time I've been reading about it, so I've not heard them. So, not generic HR records, as the title suggests. We're talking about confidential informants, spies. We love spies. So their names, dates of birth, phone numbers, social security numbers, signed CI contracts, and images that map the confidential informants' movement across Baton Rouge. It doesn't get much worse than this, right? So there are credentials and identifying details for covert cameras and an inventory of a drone fleet used by SWAT and narcotics. There's also internal affairs material and polygraph results. It's like, look, full operational picture of people and tools. This needs to be treated as a life safety first. There shouldn't be any PR management around this. The absolute moment that data set exists outside control, it needs to be assumed that adversaries can link identities to cases to geographies, and geographies to retaliation, right? Threat to life. It is bad, right? It's like, right. I hope there's been an immediate outreach to handlers, informants, and this is going to cost money because relocation is going to be needed, and an urgent rotation of operational tech, which can probably be done quite easy, but actually picking people up and moving them. They need to look at rekeying the cameras, rotating SIMs, rotating admin passwords, re-registering the drones, updating flight logs and access systems. And this should all be done by now, right? Like within 48 hours, not on some long procurement cycle. seriously, as them other hacks, compartmentalization or hacks or leaks, you know what I mean? Compartmentalization should have reduced the blast radius. As we know, and we will all feel this as operators, CI data belongs in a separate environment with independent identity stored, different keys, and a genuine, like, need to know model, not the one that you all put on your compliance documents. Yeah, it's least privilege and need to know. This is the real deal, right? Admin credentials and device inventories should never sit next to CI identities. It's like, obviously to us, you're preaching to the converted, but this is crazy, right? So if you can open a network share and see lists of people, lists of tools and credentials to those tools, it's like, you just shouldn't be in this job, should you? There should be a specific, and this relates back to the other sort of leaks and hacks that we were talking about recently. It needs a CI specific logging and alerting layer that pages people when a non-case handler touches any of it. For others outside law enforcement, most of us, but some of you this will really resonate with, you can translate this to your context. Any data set that links real people to sensitive roles, whistleblowers, witnesses, investigative journalists, the stuff, all that software that comes out of that country comes from, that they spread around and dish out to the highest bidder. Look, litigation sources, it all must live under the same standards as this really, really super sensitive data. Is that a term? Super sensitive data? You should put that in your policy. Look, if that data leaks, your responsibility is measured in relocation speed, identity rotation, and technical containment. It's like not how neat the statements look when you're trying to cover up that you were involved. Look, there's also through the story lessons about, have a look at it, it's in the show notes, lesson about internal communications. Understanding scope doesn't protect you. It reduces trust, delays meaningful action, and complicates coordination with partners that could have helped. Life safety is in play. The only acceptable bias is towards fast disclosure and faster mitigation. Look, if you hold this type of data, you better be good at your job. It's like, think. I'm going to ask some questions today because the AI told me it's like questions, but drop me a message and tell me if you like the questions, and next time I can just drop them. But anyway, could you rotate, if people are at risk, could you rotate identities and rekey your field tech inside 72 hours? If not, build that plan before it's you that's like writing statements and getting in trouble. Okay, story 3. Hacker used a voice phishing attack to steal Cisco customers' personal information. Per Cisco in the news again, and like, here we go again and again, not just Cisco, but a voice phishing call to a company representative led to access to a third-party cloud CRM and an export of Cisco.com user profile data. The attacker didn't need domain admin or mail token. They just had a convincing pretext and a process gap. The data taken included names, organization names, addresses, Cisco user IDs, emails, phone numbers, and account metadata such as creation dates. So Cisco, according to this article anyway, didn't state the number of affected users, but the pattern does match what we've seen elsewhere. And we keep hearing it. It's in the news every day. Targeted social engineering to gain temporary elevation of export rights in a SaaS tenant. Sometimes we're hearing about Salesforce. The articles have been out there. And all of this is followed by quick bulk data pulls. Remember that? It's followed by a quick bulk data pull. That should be like dee. So it's not a training problem, it's a workflow problem. If your process allows inbound callers, none of you, of course, to request authorization changes or data exports, and your staff can grant them inside the same call, well, look at your process because you might lose here. So everything in my life, the fix is simple and boring. Every elevation and every export above a threshold should require an out-of-band verification to a pre-registered number or channel or and not or and a second approver outside the request chain. This is the same as two-person integrity you use for sensitive finance changes. Apply it to your customer data. Make sure you strip down CRM roles so that no one sits with standing bolt export rights. Obviously, this is important. Use just-in-time elevation with a short expiry and a full audit. Put hard limits and alerts on export volume, export mixes, and geographies. Look, I didn't come up with these numbers. I got the computer to. But if someone tries to pull 100,000 rows at 2 a.m. from a new ASN, that's a page, not a log, right? Fixed telemetry. You must correlate exports with tickets and logs. If there's a gap, data left the building with no credible ticket, no callback, that could be a compromise, right? Assume it. Work backward through API logs to identity, the IP range, and the timeline. It's like, so they had a message in this and it says you should retrain with a new message. So not the adage, trust but verify, just verify, just verify. I tell you, look, if it's a real emergency, the right customer will pass a callback and a second approval. If not, you could have saved yourself a breach notice. So another question, I'm not going to do these for them all, but can you name right now who can export six-figure row counts from your CRM and what control stops them if someone convinces them on the phone? If you can't, make the list. Shrink it, shrink it, shrink it, like I wish someone would my massive head. Okay, my word of the day is okay. Story 4, AI site Perplexity uses stealth tactics to flout no crawl edicts, Cloudflare says. Oh, look, the AI is getting, no, people are saying the AI is doing bad stuff again. It's like, there's so many stories on this. Okay, so according to this story, Cloudflare has accused Perplexity of continuing to fetch content from sites that explicitly blocked the company's declared crawlers using robots.txt and WAF rules. The claim is that the declared bots hit a wall, traffic switched to undeclared crawlers from outside IPs, from IPs outside Perplexity's published ranges, go figure, even from different autonomous systems, and carried on. Cloudflare, who big deal, right? Says it saw this across tens of thousands of domains and millions of daily requests. They've delisted Perplexity as a verified bot and added new heuristics to block the stealth traffic. Perplexity didn't comment at publication. It would be interesting to see what they come out and say about this, or whether there'll be another court case. But there are 2 points, you cool defenders out there, to think about. Robots.txt is a social contract. It's not an access control. If you rely on it for complex or compliance or licensing, that's not what it's there for. Non-compliant scrapers will blend in. They will rotate IPs, rotate ASNs, mimic human navigation, and spread their load. If you want to protect content, you need to move past basic allow deny lists and into behavior. We always talk about this, don't we? Build layered controls. We always talk about this. Challenge based on risk scoring using TLS and JA3 for fingerprints, headerless browser signals, token binding, and navigation timing. Maintain a living fingerprint catalog for offenders. Look, ensure your CDN, WAF, and origin server consistently use the same fingerprints to make aligned decisions. Josh is having so much fun there. You need to watch this show, and we need to just clip in and out of Josh just having the best time of his life. I am so jealous, Josh. Okay, we're effective at deception. Look, this is cool. You can serve decoy contents to requests that match scraper patterns. And from all this, you might avoid releasing real intellectual property to unidentified clients who ignore your policies. If you license content, use contracts with technical obligations, publish bot IP range, sign requests, and accept third-party audits to say verify. Look, don't plug and forget. Keep looking into this. It's like crazy stuff. It's like they're out there. The AI's doing bad AI stuff. But this maybe is good AI stuff. Ooh, with the good, there's the bad, and the yin and the yang. Story 5. Microsoft's AI prototype can reverse engineer malware. No human need it. Okay, big title, not as good as that, but still cool. But cat and mouse, let's get into this. Microsoft introduced Project Irie, a prototype autonomous agent that reverse engineers binaries and classifies them without prior context. Big claim, sounds cool. So in this article, the team reports strong precision on Windows driver data sets and a low false positive rate, but only partial recall against a broader set. Looking at it in plain terms, it can be right when it fires, but obviously it won't find anything. But it is doing some cool stuff, right? We're told Microsoft plans to use it internally as a binary analyzer to support Defender. Defender's just getting so good. I hope it all sticks together and doesn't fall apart. And it's saying reduces manual review load, which is cool, but we need to think about that. And this is how we think about that. Use it as a triage accelerator. Drop it in front of your unknown file queues and let it filter out the obvious benign and the obvious malicious within an explainable conviction case. You can have a look at API usage, control flow, behaviors that justify action. Then the cool part, pipe it into a SOAR with thresholds that require both model confidence and specific artifacts before auto block. Look, everything else stays with human reverse engineers. That's why we pay them a big bucks and they do all them courses. And just like, oh, I've done a couple. They hurt your head. They do. Okay. So get the experts on top of the weird families, the new loaders, and the evasions that actually change your detections. Look, cat and mouse, love it so much. It's just it all the time. You need to plan for adversarial responses. As soon as defenders deploy autonomous RE at scale, threat actors will adapt, and there'll be more anti-assembly tricks, misleading control flow to waste model cycles, and samples tuned to heuristics. Look, keep humans in the loop. We love them. More humans, the better. Okay. There's also a governance side to that, but like, I'll leave Jeff Mann to tell us about it. Okay, story 6, nearly time for Josh. Jury rules against Meta in the Flow case. SDK telemetry framed as inception, right? A California federal jury found that Meta violated state wiretap law by capturing sensitive reproductive health-related data from the Flow period tracking app via SDK events without user consent. So Flow, Google, and Flurry had all settled this with the plaintiff earlier, but Meta fought and lost at this stage. They'll obviously appeal. They've got tons of cash, don't they? So the plaintiff's case, they say, was simple. Onboarding in the app, ask users about fertility goals and cycles. SDKs relayed custom events that could reveal that context to third parties. So the jury agreed that users had a reasonable expectation of privacy and the consent was missing. Look, if you're an app builder, ad tech, you need to look into this. You need to put controls around this. This is really serious stuff. It's like, don't rely on vendor promises that they don't want sensitive data. They all can't be trusted, can they? It's just like absolute crazy stuff. If your marketing team wants rich analytics, set the rules now. Sensitive contexts are not up for debate. This is really serious. Like, remind them that SDK telemetry is now on the table as wiretapping the app. Hopefully that'll focus the minds. Okay, story 7 then, Josh. ChatGPT is alive. It's alive. Higher capability for everyone, a new set of controls for you. It's like, look, I've been using this today. In my own personal little shot at using it, it just got really lazy on me really fast. But it's like they're saying, right, it's smarter, faster, more useful with fewer hallucinations and and safe completions. And tries to answer within safety constraints instead of hard refusals. Look, there is a cybersecurity lens on this. Outside your walls, the baseline capability for the hacktivists or the script kiddies just went up. Social engineers can use it. If it makes things look better, it'll make it look a bit harder. You can get into defense and stuff like that. Look, there's also like SDLC tag to this. It's like AI authored code. It's like you need to have a look at static application security testing and interactive application security testing. It's like coders are going to use this. Everybody's going to use it, right? And if they're not going to use it on your system, they're going to use it on the system beside the system and then port it into your system. So do it safely, do it with controls. And I guess I can leave that story there because that's just the way it goes. Okay, please welcome Josh Marpet. You have to watch this on video. It's like calming the chaos. It's like he's just going to tell us stuff that you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And from a beach with sunglasses on. Look, okay, Josh, get into it. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom.
Well,
over to you.
I figured everybody's in Vegas. I got to do this with somewhere where there's sand. I'm just not in Vegas this week. I'm at the beach. So I figured I'd do it from the beach, do it minimal equipment, and see how it goes. We'll see. But I wanted to talk this week about an interesting story that's going on, and it's fascinating. We've talked about the Genius Act. We've talked about the ADAPT Act. And the Genius Bill is the one which says that anybody, this is U.S. based, just to be clear, that anybody can take and start a central bank digital currency using T-bills. So if you take a T-bill, a treasury bill, and invest it into a central bank digital currency, you can start your own. You have to be federal or state licensed. Wait, state licensed for crypto currencies? Like, is this? Yeah, it's a thing. And so you can do that. Now, the new one, and this is the really interesting piece, is we finally figured out why they're doing it that way. They just made it legal for 401ks and for all of the retirement accounts, okay, to invest in these central bank digital currencies and, shall we say, interesting assets. So it is now legal for your 401k provider, whether it's Prudential, Vanguard, Fidelity, whomever, to invest your money in a cryptocurrency or another type of interesting asset, a crypto ETF, ETFs in general, et cetera. Now, the problem here and why I'm talking about it on this show is that this is a morass of regulation. Are the cryptocurrency regulations, which are under the AADAPT, the ADAPT bill, relevant? Is it going to be FINRA? Is it going to be FinCEN? Let me put it this way. It's going to change financial accounting and financial regulatory issues in the US. And anybody that holds T-bills, which is most of the world, hint, hint, there's a Brit on the other end of the line somewhere working at some kind of financial institution. I don't know. Anyway, that it's going to change how regulations are done. So it's going to be fascinating. Any of you that work at a bank or a financial institution that holds T-bills, cryptocurrency, or ETFs, now is the time to re-examine your regulatory landscape and really see if this is going to affect you, and if so, what you're going to have to do. Quick story, but I thought it was interesting enough for enough of our viewership that I really wanted to hit it just very quickly. Okay? And back to you, Aaron.
Thanks, Josh. I thought you were wearing like some neon pink sort of sunblock cream, but I think it's your really cool glasses.
It's the transitions tint on the glasses, yes.
That's amazing. It's like you're reminding me of the time that I did the show from the Harry Potter studio, but absolutely blowing me out of the water as always. Okay, thanks, Josh. Story 8 and the final story for today. This will come as no shock to anyone. TeaOnHer, a rival tea app for men, is leaking users' personal data and driver's licenses. Go figure, go figure, go figure. Right. So TeaOnHer, a men-focused copycat of the viral tea app, launched and immediately, it's not even funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. immediately exposed driver's license, selfies, emails, and usernames through a flaw that made identity documents publicly accessible via direct links. Reporters also saw lists of posts with emails, display names, and self-reported locations. So at the time, obviously, well, as the last story was, the developer didn't respond to outreach at publication time. So a second serious issue exposed admin credentials. All of this while the original T app is still dealing. If you haven't seen this, it was reported on news on the previous shows. So the original T app is dealing with fallout from 2 breaches, first of which is a publicly exposed database with tens of thousands of images, including ID documents, then a separate incident that exposed more than 1 million private messages and forced T to disable DMs. There's 2, so it's a pattern. Look, reputational apps rushing to scale, bolting on identity verification for safety, and storing government IDs like static websites. If you collect IDs, you must segregate them in a know your client vault. KYC to friends, there must be separate keys, service to service, access only, and strict tokenization. Deliver any rendering through short-lived signed URL scoped to the authenticated user. Like, I'm full of knowledge today. Block directory listings and public object access at the storage layer so that even a bad server can't leak a bucket. Look, people need to look into this. They need to run pre-mortems and external AppSec. It's like enumerate. You need to look into breaking this stuff from a cold start with no credentials and then move through the chain with compromised low privilege accounts. It's like, look, people are going to go after this stuff. Moderation and abuse controls are not optional. The platforms, because people don't like them, right? For various reasons, and we won't go into them, but various reasons that they definitely don't like these apps. They're like Marmite, aren't they? Do you even have Marmite over there? They're like, oh, love, hate. They will get doxing, spam, and false claims from day one. Look at Ashley Madison. People love to hate what they are against. It's like crazy. For CISOs who support product teams experimenting in this space, draw a hard line. If your app touches identity documents, security is not an MVP task, and that's minimum viable product, not most valuable player, like Josh wins every day. Look, last question of the day for fun to get the gray matter going. If your app collects IDs for safety, can you prove a single misconfiguration can't make those IDs public? If you can't prove it, don't collect them. Okay, breathe. That's it for episode 501. Make sure you've watched episode 500 and 501 to see Josh on the beach. Doug, we've missed you this week. Keep up the fun and keep the pictures and posts rolling in. Thank you, Josh, for the expert analysis, direct, practical, and normally a laugh at my expense, but it's okay. If you find this useful, make one tangible change this week. Look at your patching out of Psycho, fix your support workflows so inbound callers can't grant themselves exports, set real AI guardrails, and if you collect identity documents, store them like the dangerous asset they are. So not much to take away from today's show. I'm Aaron Leyland. See you next time. Security Weekly News. Peace out, cyber friends. Aggressive patching, aggressive detection, and a little aggressive kindness while we're at it. Thanks, Josh. Love the smile. Love the beach. Goodbye.